Grizzly going crazy, nigga.
Roller coaster motor at the stoplight, catch me at the finish line flexing. Following the kid like a spotlight, why you keep asking same questions? Roller coaster motor at the stoplight, catch me at the finish line flexing. Following the kid like a spotlight, why you keep asking same questions? I remember going to school, never had the latest shoes. You was raised to make it cool, I was raised to make a move. We was playing with different bags, so I kept getting shitted on. It was motivation, telling myself stay patient. Package touchdown, gotta relocate it. If that body got took down, guess it was donated. Plug ain't from round town, but we both native. Yeah, sliding with my body, I got a Joe waiting. Can't let these hoes spend the night, ain't got no home training. Heard your damn mixtape, gave it a low rating. Yeah, streets reply, I look right in a Mercedes. Creep at night, the city lights going brave. She popping it like that is meant for, can't be no road and extendo. Bitch, I put me in the friend zone till she see me in the end zone. Horse calling from other zip code, trapping hard, I need a flip phone. It's the new pack, the last one been gone. Roller coaster motor at the stoplight, catch me at the finish line flexing. Following the kid like a spotlight, why you keep asking same questions? Roller coaster motor at the stoplight, catch me at the finish line flexing. Following the kid like a spotlight, why you keep asking same questions? Stepping out cool, rock and roll my watch and shoes. They scream wave, ain't bring a pool. Mainstream think to scream my moves. Jack hit me up like gotta leave round 2. Know what's going on, man, you need it come through. I'm the neighborhood superintendent. Dogs in the den, got the kush in the kitchen. Look here, baby, I'm on real time. Needle in the haystack, but still shine. Wave guard, grill gold like a face guard. I did a bid and tell him wait for it. Grill gold like a face guard. I did a bid and tell him wait. Tell him. Roller coaster motor at the stoplight, catch me at the finish line flex. Following the kid like a spotlight, why you keep asking same questions? Roller coaster motor at the
She'll be down with God, but she be down with me. She'll be down with God, but she be down with me. She'll be down with God, but she be down with me. She'll be down with God, but she be down with me. You niggas be trolling, licking on my lips, biting down, bitch, I'm rolling. Square ass body walked up like what my hoe went. In the street shit, keep it real without a trophy. Baby, what's the weather like? Wavy, get the better price. Ice on my left and right wrist, burning megabytes. Rolling up megahertz, feeling like gelling hurts. Nigga, what's your nigga, what's your network? Better find some better work. Better find some. Nigga, what's your net worth? Better find some better work. Look me in my eyes, Charlie. Look me in my eyes. Can you see my vision? Can you? Hey, she'll be down with God, but she be down with me. She'll be down with God, but she be down with me. She'll be down with God, but she be down with me. She'll be down with God, but she be down with me. Best gas on the north side, tell me what you need. Only sell cat if you selling it for me. Plants ain't ready, I'ma sell them in the spring. 36 bitches, gotta tell them when to leave. Ran up a check, gotta put this in the house. Talking too much, baby, put this in your mouth. Pancakes and eggs, I'm just cooking what I bought. Schedule kinda full, gotta book me when I'm out. Had to tell my dog that his name getting hot. Every kind of tool like a maintenance shop. Hook back some bread for the same little spot. 409 miss me so the game still rock. Shit, wait. For me, she'll be down with God, but she be down with me. She'll be down with God, but she be down with me. She'll be done with God, but she be done with me. She'll be done with God, but she be done with me.
Don't even post it. She got a nigga, but don't even post it. She got a nigga, but don't even post it. I pull up with the runs and the potion. Niggas no shooter who keep me some motion. Put a play on a play on a play. Put a bay on a bay on a bay. Screaming free out my bodies upstate. Screaming free out my niggas downtown too. I be high as fuck making LeBron. She got a nigga, but don't even post it. I pull up with the runs and the potion. Niggas no shooter who keep me some motion. Put a play on a play on a play. Put a bay on a bay on a bay. Screaming free out my bodies upstate. Screaming free out my bodies downtown too. I be high as fuck making LeBron moves. Should be bad like in no time. Hit a C like it's go time. My bitches in the game like the old line. Hey, and when I come down, you get no shine. Scissors on the backseat like a little kid. Tub been gone for a little minute. Ain't back and forth, I just post a pic with a bankroll, pounds in the mix. I can't parking like pimp. Hey, serving coffee shop him. Hey, got you walking around stiff. Hey, all that cash on him. Then put a bag on the cracker, but you put a bag on him. Hey, for black on black violence. Hey, let's go smash on them. I just paid my rent late on the block near Kimbe. Chopper got a little shake, hit the jerk like Benjay. Money calling me today, I'ma pick up every time. Bro just brought a whole bottle, gon' distribute airline. Shawty came with her ass like the city had dying. Wi-Fi around the trap, this shit like an airline. Shawty came with her ass like the city had dying. Wi-Fi around the trap, this shit like an airline. She got a nigga, but don't even post it. I pull up with the runs and the potion. Niggas no shooter who keep me some motion. Put a play on a play on a play. Put a bay on a bay on a bay. Screaming free out my bodies upstate. Screaming free out my niggas downtown too. I be high as fuck making LeBron. She got a nigga, but don't even post it. I pull up with the runs and the potion. Niggas no shooter who keep me some motion. Put a play on a play on a play. Put a bay on a bay on a bay. Screaming free out my bodies upstate. Screaming free out my bodies downtown too. I be high as fuck making LeBron moves. Gotta get up and get up and get up and get it. You working that job, but you stuck in the trenches. Cash to be made, so who out here tripping? My cellular phone got a damn chip in it. Wake up, sign for 30 balls. Still in the trap with dirty clothes. You can be different, work my phones. You can be dead and work alone.
Peace, peace, peace. You know what time it is, man. We know what we about to get into, man. Black power or nothing. Afro-centricity at its finest. Afro-centric or nothing. Goddamn me. Peace and black power. Goddamn me. Happy Black Day. You know what I'm saying? It's Black Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? Talk black to me. You know what I'm saying? Call me black. You know what I'm saying? I'm busy right now. You got to call me black. But nah, man. Let the wheels get turning. You know, as the wheels turn, as the white runts burn. You know what I'm saying? With the stream yesterday, um, I had, you know what I'm saying, little smoke sessions in between the stream. You know what I'm saying? People wanted to come in and get their smoke out the way and hash they smoke out, whether it was King Seth and Uncle Judah or Sergio versus Martin and Angel with the Yakad. You know what I'm saying? I believe the mission of yesterday's live with the title got established and accomplished. With that being said, I feel like it's still more meat on the bone. With that being said, I feel like there's still more meat left on the bone. So when we think of Eurocentric, when we think of a Eurocentrist or anything like that, um, they didn't have to define themselves as being a Eurocentrist. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have to define themselves as being biased with their scholarship, being biased with their information. Let me tell y'all something crazy. The past month, about the past month, I give it about 3 weeks. The past 3 weeks of me opening up my computer has been hitting Chat GPT. The past 3 weeks of me opening up my computer, Chat GPT just came on my computer. I didn't buy it. I don't got no free trial. I don't got none of that. You know what I'm saying? Chat GPT just came up on my platform, on my web browser. And this morning I was like, you know what? Let me use Chat GPT. You know what I'm saying? When I think of Afro-centric for a black person, I'm understanding you better be that. You better be a goddamn Afrocentric. Now, does that make your information biased? It depends how far you want to take it. But Afrocentric just means that you looking at history and you taking in any information through an African lens. You know what I'm saying? You ain't thinking like no white man. You ain't thinking like the colonizer. So anyway, so Uncle got Uncle Reggie in the building. Anyway, so I look at my I go on Chat GPT and I do a little bit of flirting. I start flirting with Chat GPT. So let's see what I was flirting with Chat GPT and it said. Okay. Um so I asked a list of Afrocentric Egyptologists and scholars. It says, here's a list of Afrocentric and African Egyptologists and scholars who have challenged Eurocentric narratives in Egyptology. These thinkers argue, hold on, let me make sure I'm right. Let me make sure. Let me get my, oh yeah, okay, we good. These, okay, my bad. These thinkers argue that ancient Egypt is fundamentally African in language, culture, biology, and worldview, and have worked to reconnect Egypt with the rest of the African continent. If you black, why the fuck would you disagree with that? If you black, why the fuck would you disagree with that right there? Let's keep going. All right, Afrocentric and African Egyptologist scholars. Number one, Sheikh Anta Diop, Senegal, 1923. Origins of Civilization, argued the ancient Egyptians were black Africans. I'm arguing that still to this day, ancestor Sheikh Anta Diop. I'm arguing that with these niggas till this day. I'm standing on the shoulders of our ancestors. I'm still arguing this today. You got niggas saying they Mediterranean, niggas saying the ancient Egyptians Caucasoid from the Levant. Got all type of crazy ass shit. I'm standing on Sheikh Anta Diop. I'm standing on his shoulders. You know what I'm saying? And if we need to find out why people don't want to, why our black elders don't want to be Afrocentric, we gotta find out the common problem. Because when we look up the definition of an Afrocentric, it don't say nothing bad at all. It's not a bad thing at all. We go find the definition. Anyways, he used linguistic, anthropological, and historical evidence to demonstrate Egypt's African roots. We represent that. Uncle Sheikh Anta Diop advocated for a revision of African history by Africans themselves. Now, why see this right here is why I say we got a lot of house niggas. You want to take what the white man said about Africa. Why we can't use the Africans themselves? Because they ain't got a PhD. You crying about a goddamn PhD? These niggas is crazy. All right, let's keep going. legacy, a foundational figure in Afro-centric scholarship. His ideas sparked global debates in Egyptology. Sheikh Anta Diop, his ideas sparked global debates. Global, not just over there in France. Let's keep going. Theophilo Banga from the Congo, works African philosophy, the Pharaonic period, 2700 BC to 300 BC, collaborated with Diop at the UNESCO Symposium on the Peopling of Ancient Egypt. So 1974, we got two black brothers going against crackers, Europeans, Arabs, Eurocentrists. So yeah, they gonna call them Afro-centric. Goddamn it, we standing with it. What the hell? You got a problem with that? Take your ass over there to Eurocentro land. Start thinking like the white man. Demonstrated the linguistic ties between ancient Egyptian and other African languages. Now, shout out to Naga. We had my boy King Seth in the building, and King Seth, he was showing linguistic ties between Egypt, you know what I'm saying, and the rest of Congo languages and other African languages. So we over here, we standing on the feet of our ancestors. If you want to think like a white man, this might not be the channel for you, and you need to stop speaking on Africa. If you want to think like the white man, stop speaking on Africa. I don't give a fuck how old you is. Let me take this down real quick. Let me drop the link for Uncle Reggie. Let me drop the link for Uncle Reggie. But let me just say this. I don't give a fuck how old you is. I'm going to be in 6. Okay, Uncle Reggie said he's getting off the bus. I bet. I don't care how old you is. If you can't accept reality, the reality is that we've been fed information from a Eurocentric point of view, from a Western understanding. You got to accept it. Once you accept it, then we can go into what was our elders and what were they teaching. Were some of our elders pseudo? Yes, some of you niggas is pseudo today. Some of you niggas is pseudo today. So saying some of our elders, yes, they didn't have all the information. They probably had a little bit of ego. They probably was trying to motivate our people. It don't matter what the objective was. The main understanding, to keep the main thing. You gonna think like a white man or you gonna think like an African? That's the main thing. We're gonna keep the main thing. You gonna think like a European or you gonna think like an African? So when I hear Afro-centric, that ain't no slug. That ain't no virus. That ain't no negative thing. That mean, nigga, you standing with your people. Keon hopped on the stream yesterday, asked me a question. He said, is the truth on the Afro-centric side or is the truth on the Eurocentric side? You know what I told him? The truth is in the middle. The truth is in the middle. We not gonna act like us as human beings are not territorial. We're not gonna act like us as human beings are not territorial. So we got our own way of doing shit, of methodology and philosophy. They got their own way of doing shit. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna act like it's one type of science. It's one type of education. We gotta cut that bullshit out. While they was coming up with the scientific method, your people, goddamn me, was in the fields. So we gotta be realistic with the information. If you can't say out of your mouth that white people run the world, then you need to get off of YouTube, or you need to stop calling yourself whatever you want to call yourself. We don't give a fuck about the work you put in. If you can't be realistic and say that if you black, your ass better be a damn Afrocentrist. I don't give a fuck what slug they put on it. I don't care what stigma or dogma or frogma or hogma that they put on being an Afrocentric. Nigga, this our goddamn life. This our goddamn life. You gonna think like the white man or you gonna think like a damn a black man that ain't got no chains on? Which one you gonna think like? All right, let me share my screen again. You better be a damn Afro-centric if you black. Get that bullshit out of here. All right. Theophilo Banger. Emphasize African continuity in philosophy and science. Ivan van Sertima. They came before Columbus, Egypt revisited. Support the idea that ancient Egypt was African and influenced other African civilization, popularized African contributions to global history, though some of his works has been debated academically, helped introduce African-centered history to wider audience. That's Ivan van Sertima. We could call Ivan van Sertima pseudo all day, but he helped introduce African-centered history to wider audiences. Okay, Malefi Kete Asante, Afrocentricity, the theory of social change. The Egypt philosophers also founder of the Afrocentricity movement, advocates for interpreting African history from an African perspective, positions ancient Egypt within the broader African culture matrix. Now look, Malefic Kete Osante. Uncle Reggie was showing his book on his live. Uncle Reggie had the book, Afrocentricity. Now, if you just look at this right here, advocates for interpreting African history from an African perspective. You know what I'm saying? That's where we want to be at. I don't know where you other niggas want to be at, but that's where we want to be at. So when I go right here and it says advocated, when they say Sheikh at the Diop advocated for a revision of African history by Africans themselves, that's what we want. You want to think for yourself. You don't want to think like the cracker. Anthony Browder, Nile Valley Contributions to Civilization, conducts independent research and leads anthropological work in Egypt, focus on educating African Americans on African heritage through Egypt, works closely with Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities. There go another out there, African American fucking with Egypt, because he understand the Nile Valley contributions. Mario Beatty, Howard University, a contemporary Egyptologist focused on reviving the ancient Egyptian Metaneta language. Come on, man. Shout out Uncle Mario. Deeply involved in Afrocentric reinterpretations of Kemet's spiritual and cultural systems. Come on, man. Come on, man. Let me stop at being Dr. Ben, Africa, mother of Western civilization. Taught and advocated for Egypt as an African and Black civilization. Worked to counter colonial narratives in education systems. All right, so look, check this out. Now let's go to some Euro-centric cats. Let me see. Go to some European cats. Here's a list of Eurocentric scholars, mostly from the 18th to early 20th century, whose work has been characterized either by themselves or by later critics. Okay, you got philosophy, history. So you got all these are all Europeans, know what I'm saying? Giving you information through their lenses. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got no problem with none of these niggas. Thomas Carlyle. We ain't got no problem with none of these niggas. Leopold. Y'all don't got no problem with none of these niggas telling their stories. But when it come to Charles Darwin, when it come to us telling our motherfucking stories, all right, Jean-Francois Champollion, Eurocentric scholars in Egyptology, known as the father of Egyptology for deciphering the Rosetta Stone. Though he acknowledged links between Egypt and Africa, his framing still emphasized Egypt as a precursor to European civilization. Y'all hear this bullshit? Although he deciphered the Rosetta Stone, nigga, he still think Egypt is a precursor to European civilization. Let's keep going. Flinders Petrie, y'all know about Flinders Petrie, promoted eugenics and believed ancient Egyptian advancement came from an invading dynastic race, possibly of European origin. He explicitly reject the idea that Egyptians were African in the black African sense. Y'all see this shit? Flinders Petrie, pioneer of archaeological methodology. So he gave you niggas the methodology to go look this shit up in Egypt. But what did he say? He explicitly rejected the idea that Egyptians were African in a black African sense. Believe Egyptian advancement came from invading race. Y'all see this shit? So either we gonna be okay, we got Uncle Reggie in the back. Either we gonna be either we gonna give them our history, our perspective, and think for ourselves, or we gonna just, I'm gonna go to Google, or let me go to Wikipedia, or let me go to the dictionary. What's that popular dictionary these niggas like reading out of? Let me go to the European British dictionary and see the definition of this word. We know definitions change over time. You know, if you called a brother in a nigga in the goddamn 40s and 50s, that was disrespectful. You know, if you called a brother a nigga today, that's like saying beloved. That's a term of endearment. So words and definitions change over time. And if them crackers created, if they start calling us Afro-centric as a derogatory term, they called us nigga as a derogatory term. So we taking that Afro-centric word and we wearing that shit with some goddamn hot sauce and a goddamn fitted cap with a do-rag and a black and mild. Goddamn, we gonna stand up and claim we Afro-centric, because what else is there to be? What else is there to be? Now, I said yesterday, the truth, Keon asked me, is the truth in Afrocentric or Eurocentric? Where's the truth? I say the truth will be in the middle, but it's all about your point of view and how you think. Uncle Reggie, peace to you. How you doing, Elder?
Peace to you, brother. Super Wavy Shawnee. I wish you was in New York so I can so I can walk the block with you in New York, right? I wish how you doing in Texas? I heard the water, the flooding and stuff is killing people. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Uncle Reggie. I'm in South Texas. I think he had hit Central Texas, man. But yeah, man. Sorry to hear that. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely a tragedy.
Yeah, your state is one of the worst states for African people. Your state, your states continue to the illegal slave trade after the act for the importation uh, of Africans. The act uh, was ended in 1807. They continued it all the way up to 1865. All those Daniel Boones and all those other people that people like fought for slavery. But people don't know that. But let's get on this topic. Uh, what I had said before is I came into Black Studies, the African Studies in 1983. And my my teachers were Professor Edward Scobie and Dr. Leonard Jeffries to start, and then I got introduced to Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark. The movement of African people resisting Eurocentric ideas had been started many years ago. You're talking about in the 1800s with the Haitian ambassador. I think of his name Pryor, who went to Africa, went to the Nile Valley, and found that the Africans that the images were African people, and then followed up by a whole group of scholars until it got into a lot of this was in France, by the way, and so there were lots of French-speaking Africans who resisted this. They weren't calling it Afrocentricity. The later period in the 80s, that's when how can I say publishing was more available to Black people, and so now you have lots of Black people doing much more publishing. we were free to publish, and there were a lot of African people coming out of universities so that they can get into different types of journal articles and things like that. Molefi, Dr. Molefi Asante, respect to him. He was a communication expert. That's what he's got his PhD in. And he was one of those who projected us, our people, in a fast pace to being able to publish. In turn, he so that means he was able to acquire lots of materials and things to fast publish. So he wrote Afro-Centricity, I don't know, 79, 80 with his wife at the time, Karen Welch. And it was the beginning of a terminology, but the facts is that the intellectual warfare had begun way earlier. So what he did was create a ideology such as like Marxism and Leninism, and he created this ideology and he absorbed the work, the great work of many greats who never called themselves Afrocentric, who fought the battle without Molefi's help, without Molefi's words. And then he began to bring in concepts that were contrary to like Marxism and Leninism, like spirit and God and the creator and things like that. But fundamentally his work is basically race, which is a scientific construct, and culture. And he's speaking from the Afro-American point of view. He's not speaking from the African point of view. He's using Africa as the deep roots, but he's speaking, he's creating a theory of change largely for the Afro-American artists or the African-American audience. But this movement had already started. So this movement had already started. So then Europeans are able to now pick holes in Dr. Molefi's first edition. So he does several editions until it's something else, the Afrocentric idea or something like that. So, and then his work was largely in the universities and people associated to the universities. It wasn't ever grassroots. It was never, ever grassroots. Now, how I know that is because when I put up this book, which fell apart last night, and I got to tape it. If I ask the people who say they're Afrocentric if they ever read the book, the Bible, very few of them would raise their hands. If I said they read the first edition, this is the first edition, right? This is the first edition. Very few people would wave their hands, right? So this was in 1980. So some of you people are like the Bible. The Bible has the New Testament has truths in it. You align with that, and then with shallow reading, you think the New Testament and the Old Testament are connected. They are not, right? So when I hear someone like you who have really good intentions, who go for the big themes of Afrocentricity, your problem is you're going to tell somebody like me. What happened? Can you hear me? You're going to tell somebody like me who got involved in Black Studies 3 years after this book was written, who critiqued the book when I was in Black Studies, and we just saw it as something to critique. Is it true? Is it not? Right? And you're going to talk to me. It's not personal, Super Wavy, but you're going to talk to me, who was mentored by Dr. Leonard Jeffries and Dr. John Henry Clark and Dr. Ben Hussein in their classes, who talked to Dr. Asa Hilliard, who talked to Dr. Jacob Carruthers, right? People who had already been doing this work, who went to Africa in 1986. You're going to tell me that I should follow that book, or that book is what is my work. That book is not my work. That book is helpful as an introductory is like Bible school, Sunday school, but it doesn't in this whole book really talk about Africa itself. Show me in this book where there's one significant thing about Africa. No, you got Garvey in it, you got Booker T. Washington in it, you got Malcolm X in it, you got Ida B. Wells in it, you got all of these people. Where the hell does this book talk about Africa from an African an African point of view? It doesn't. Our work was always on Africa, right? The whole of Africa. That's why I went to Senegal. Show me again in this goddamn book, you Afrocentrist, where it has a meaningful description of indigenous Africa. No, you got to go to John G. Jackson. You got to go to Chancellor Williams. You got to go to Leo Hansberry. You got to go to those scholars to get Dr. John Henry Clark to get a description on Africa. And then you got to really read or listen to Dr. Leonard Jeffries, who did his PhD on the Ivory Coast, who graduated from Columbia as the first African Studies PhD, right? That's that. So then you have to go to those people. And so when you want to talk to me about something that sounds like, and I should be, then people are doing the same thing as Hebrews to Negroes, traits and cultures, right? Dietary. So you must be a Hebrew. That's not the work that I'm involved in.
Hey, Uncle Reggie, let me ask you this question, and we can get into the revisions of the book. I definitely want to do that. Let me ask you this: is your problem with Asante's book definition of Afrocentric, or is your problem with the word period?
My problem is not. My problem is what I said. This book does not have a whole meaningful chapter on Africa.
Okay, I got you. Now let me ask you this: you said that it's 4 different revisions of that book. Why was he making revisions? Was he appealing to Europeans, or was he trying to appeal to us to make it more?
Well, one thing is you should know, and I have to find it itself, that in his book, of course, because he's in academia, he says that white people can be Afrocentric. But you don't know that.
Uncle Reggie, let me ask the question one more time. Maybe you didn't hear me. Was he revising the book that many times to appease Europeans or to make it more beautiful for our people? That's the question.
He was revising the book because of critiques and trying to make his point stronger. And the critiques came from a number of different places. And Europeans at that particular time, at the early points, they weren't even interested in it. What they were interested in is a burst of scholars coming out, talking about the Africanness of Africa and other claims, and they categorize all these groups as in this model called Afrocentricity. They did that. So he revised to make himself clear from not just European critique, but from the critiques of students and stuff like myself. If you look at the book that I'm going to show you, the book that if I show you the book, let me open this up again, right? We read this on a collegiate level, and so we had to write papers on it. So we outlined sections that we would use in our damn papers, right? Because we studied the book. So what I'm just trying to tell you is when a person revises a book, it answers questions from a number of different people, not just white people, but he sought to clarify his issue. So enough of me. I want to hear what some of the other people got to say, and that's about it.
Now let me ask you one more question. So if when I go to Chat GPT, let me share my screen real quick.
Okay.
So when I go to Chat GPT, and for Sheikh Anta Diop, let me see, where is he? Right here. Okay, it says advocated for a revision of African history by Africans themselves. Now, also, you go to Malefe Asante, he says advocates for interpreting African history from an African perspective, and also positions ancient Egypt within a broader African cultural matrix. So when you hear advocating for interpreting African history from an African perspective, would that be Afro-centric to you,
No,
or what?
no,
Okay, what?
no. It says what it is. They're looking at Africa through an African lens. So it doesn't mean Afrocentric.
what
Afrocentric is a term
okay,
put on that Dr. Check out the Diop's book, Civilization, around 1956. That's 30 years before Afrocentricity. The key book that we go to, The African Origin of Civilization, right? His work is around 56, almost 30 years earlier than Afrocentricity. So why don't you give Dr. Shekinah Diop some goddamn credit? Won't you give Dr. Chancellor Williams some goddamn credit? Won't you give Leo Hansberry some goddamn credit?
Uncle Reggie,
right? For their
Uncle
work.
Reggie, this the problem. This the problem, Uncle Reggie. We
No.
hold up,
Won't
Uncle
you
Reggie,
give them?
relax. Uncle Reggie, relax. This the problem. Why are we acting like definitions can't change over time? Why are we acting like a whip
Because
in the 30s is not the same thing as a whip today? A whip today is a car. A whip in the 30s, that's what you was getting your ass whooped by. So why we not gonna act?
they
Hold up one
didn't.
second. Why we can't act like definitions can't change over time, Uncle Rich?
Okay, because I have college, right? I have university training. We're not dealing with a definition, right? We're not dealing with a definition, by the way. What we're dealing with is people's lives, work, and their intent, right? So again, Afrocentricity absorbed other people's work when other people was doing had different methodology, right? Had their own type, their own thinking. And again, what you don't seem, good brother, you don't seem to understand what I'm saying. You have, first of all, have you read the book?
No, sir.
Okay, so then you should be very cautious about talking to me who got the book in front
No,
of me.
I'm telling
There's
you,
not one
definitions could
complete
change
chapter.
over time. If you can't
I'm
acknowledge
saying, but I
definitions
said,
could change over time, I don't know what
sir, I told you we're not dealing with a definition. We're dealing with an ideology.
We dealing
Sir,
with a
the book is
methodology. We dealing with a thought process. We dealing with a point of view. We dealing with all that. It's a definition.
well, then let's deal with it. So you say it's a definition. I say that it is a theory of social change, a theory that could be tested whether or not it is, in fact, a theory of social change. Second of all, it is an ideology. An ideology is different. You can't just put a definition on an ideology. You have to explain the methodology of the ideology.
We could,
right? So you cannot oversimplify.
We could explain that. Let's break it down. Afrocentrist is somebody that's catering to his people, looking through information from an African perspective. That's what I'm saying, Uncle Rich.
And I'm saying, explain to me the ideology.
I'm not talking about no ideology. I'm telling you what Afrocentric is today and how we using it today. It's somebody that's fighting, bigging up his people, motivating his people by looking at shit through his people's lens. When we look at Diop, we look at John Henry Clark, all them niggas you name, they always catering to our people and giving our perspective, not bowing down to no European. Uncle Reggie?
See, here is, you are making some fatal flaws, right? Because it's not a definition. A definition is oversimplification, and that those things can change. But once somebody writes an ideological perspective, that is the perspective of Afrocentric and Afrocentricity. Now, I can't help you quickly understand those things, but in time, Superway, because I think that you're very bright. I think that you are a warrior. I think over time, as you get older and you read more, right, and you begin to write, right, then if I asked you to write an abstract on it with sources, then I can see what you're, then I can understand, I could deal with what you're saying with
All right,
sources. If you were
I'm about
just,
to show you what I mean right here. Let's go back to Chat GPT and let me show you this. Because this is what Afrocentric mean to us. Advocates for interpreting African history from an African perspective. That's from Malefe Asante. And when we go to Diop, advocated for a revision of African history by Africans themselves. I don't gotta write no damn dissertation. I don't gotta get no goddamn PhD. When we talk about argued that the ancient Egyptians was black, any nigga that's used linguistic, anthropological, and historical evidence to demonstrate Egypt's African roots. This the issue. This the issue. Our people is fighting against racist liars. We fighting
yeah,
upholding our information against racist goddamn liars. We want to act like motherfuckers can't think white. No, it's two ways to think, and I just showed you that both. It's a reason why they
yeah.
call these
And you
brothers
don't
Afrocentrics.
understand
These
what I am
brothers had,
saying.
hold up,
Look,
one second.
no, you
These
look.
brothers, second,
No,
one
you
second.
talk.
These brothers' heart. One
No.
second.
See,
These
here,
brothers' hearts.
no,
They
one
had
second,
something
nothing.
internal. One second, Uncle Reggie. These brothers had something internal pushing them to fight for their people. They had something internal that was making them go the extra mile and prove the colonizers wrong. Uncle Reggie, that's what's going on right
You
now.
put up that slide. Put up that slide that you put up before.
All right.
And I don't have a lot more time. And but I appreciate your show. Put up that daggone slide. Dr. Cheikh Anta Diop was born in Africa, in Senegal, 1923 to 1986. God damn it, Afrocentricity was created in 1980. It absorbed his work, right? What he was doing and what other African scholars and Black scholars was doing was before Dr. Malefe Asante wrote that book. For some of you, you think that 1980 and 86 is a long time. I was in college at that time, right? I was at college. It wasn't a very long time. Again, you are disrespecting the work of many of the greats who came before Dr. Malefi Asante, because it was their work that taught him to create his ideology. They had their own thinking, but guess what? Their own thinking, their thinking themselves gets marginalized to what Afrocentricity says. Dr. John Henry Clark, who's been doing the work the same time, his ideas get marginalized to the point where Dr. John Henry Clark himself had to speak out. I'm doing something different, and I've been doing it for 40, 50 years before this. Now, I'm not going to continue to argue with you, right? I have read the work, right? I can see what ideas I support in the work. I can tell you that I am African-centered. I'm not Afro-centric. I could tell you that. I could tell you that Dr. John Henry Clark was African-centered, and Dr. Ben was, and Dr. Leonard Jeffries was African-centered and was doing the work before Dr. Malefe Kete Asante. But Dr. Malefe Kete Asante has done great work, and I respect him, and I know him. Well, I've met him. I can't say I've been to his house, but I've met him and talked to him, and maybe I'll pull up some videos where you see me and him talking. Right? So I respect you, Super Wavy Shawnee. However, you cannot, first, you have not read the book. Second, you're looking at themes and you're saying because people follow those themes, that therefore we are Afrocentric. That is not necessarily how we do work, especially when a person tells you why they're not Afrocentric, which I've tried last night and I've tried today.
Explain to me why you not Afrocentric.
Afrocentricity is an African American way of talking about Africa and world history without specifically talking about the diversity of African thought and Africans themselves.
That ain't what I'm talking about. Afrocentric. What I'm saying, this is what I'm saying.
You don't think I can comprehend what you're saying?
Afrocentric is looking at the world. Afrocentric is looking at the world from an African perspective. Tell me why you not Afrocentric.
I just told you. Okay, when we slow down.
You just made up a definition from an old ass book. Fuck that book. Definitions change. Tell me why you not what I just said you is.
Because, right? Because see, now I could get loud and I can do all of that too.
Don't run from the conversation. We use passion. We black. We
Okay.
got kidnapped tongue.
Hey, Super Wavy, you ain't read now I'm gonna raise up on you. You ain't read the book.
I don't.
You ain't read the book.
I'm not abiding by that book's definition. I'm not abiding by.
If you didn't read the book,
definition. I'm telling you, definitions can change over time.
Super Wavy,
you got a problem with molecular. If you got beef with him, that's y'all beef. If he took your girl,
I ain't got no beef with him.
That ain't my fault. If he took your girl, that ain't my fault. But you gonna abide by this definition I'm talking about. Fuck that book definition and fuck that book. Fuck that book. Fuck that book. Fuck that goddamn book. You gonna abide by my definition and answer my motherfucking questions. You are Afrocentric because your YouTube channel is called Africa Online, nigga. Don't play with me, Uncle Reggie.
Okay, I'm not your nigga, and I'm not a nigga, and my work, my work deals with a particular aspect of Africa. But I look at the whole of Africa, and I look at the African experience, their voices, and that book, right, is talking about the Afro-American experience.
Fuck that book. Fuck that book. Abide by my definition.
Why should I abide by your definition and you ain't?
Fuck that book. Fuck that book. You wasted your money. You wasted your fucking money. Abide by my definition. Afrocentric is looking at the world through an African lens. Are you Afrocentric now?
No. No.
Tell me why you not, Uncle Reggie.
Because I can't remove the book from just because you tell me it to do so to win an argument. I can't do that. I've invested hours and hours and hours of thought.
This is what Afrocentric is to me. Fuck that book. Listen to me.
We don't talk like that. We don't talk like that.
Looking at the world from an African perspective, catering to your people, motivating your people, diagnosing the lies in the Euro-centric point of view. Does that make you? Would you consider yourself one of those people as far as them definitions, them meanings?
I told you what I am. I'm African-centered, but I use methodology, accepted methodology. I could just tell you that book doesn't have one complete chapter on Africa that I'm impressed. It has people just learning about Africa, want to feel Africa. One of those themes of feeling Africa and want to be part of Africa, but not knowing Africa itself enough to really love Africa. So,
all right, Uncle Reggie, let me say the question again. Maybe you didn't hear me. Let me say the question again. Maybe you didn't hear me.
I hear everything that you say. I understand on a university level, bro.
If you didn't hear me, I'm gonna ask it again. What I said was Afro-centric. To me, how we taking this shit upon our shoulders, just like with the nigga word, Afro-centric is looking at the world from an African perspective, bigging up your people, motivating your people, diagnosing the lies and correcting the motherfucking lies and proving Africa in its predominant place. Are you one of those people, Uncle Reggie?
I'm one of those people who is African centered, and I've said it 20 times. And I said the book doesn't have anything, his interpretations of what African Americans or Afro Americans feel about Africa, but there's nothing in the book that's directly associated with African thought. Now later, other Afrocentrists try to add to it because of their own experiences, but the theory itself is just most of these people never been to Africa. How can I say never? Some of them never even really got taught by an African in a university, and so they have in their mind what Africa is, right? They don't have a direct connection to Africa, and these are the people. When I started meeting them in 1983, we were just, some of us was just going to Africa. If you wasn't in a university and stuff like that or really connected, you weren't going to Africa until 1986. 1986.
I got a question. Yeah. What is pushing our people, Uncle Reggie? What is pushing our people to want to come out and give us information on Africa? What is pushing our people to want to, what pushed Diop and who was the other cat to go to the Cairo Symposium, UNESCO? What was pushing John Henry Clark and what's pushing our people to even want to put us on game about our people? What's pushing us, Uncle Reggie?
A search for the truth.
Or is it Eurocentricity?
No, it's actually for the long-term search of African people, their own agency to find out about themselves. Most of the work about Africa has nothing to do with the European. The European is Johnny come lately. So the question is to fundamentally find for our own agency what we did right, what we did wrong, right? How can we fix unification in the modern world, right? Those type of things. The Eurocentric problem is a problem only because the Africans don't know themselves. Let me explain to you this. Africans can simply close it.
Are you crazy? Uncle Reggie.
Don't call me crazy.
We wouldn't be trying to do what you just said if the truth was plain in plain sight. Why is the truth is not in plain sight, Uncle Reggie?
Sir, Africa can simply close its borders. If we were smart, we would do that. And we would trade only internally.
You think it's that easy? You think it's that easy?
The Chinese close their borders.
Uncle Reggie, the Chinese
yes.
The Chinese government and military ain't African? What is you look, Uncle Reggie.
I gotta go.
Super wavy. Check me out, Uncle Reggie. Uncle Reggie, listen to me. These conversations are healthy. Don't ever think we screaming or hollering or going back and forth.
No, we're not. Super wavy.
We've been kidnapped.
I gave you an example. I said after the box.
That was horrible. That was a horrible example. China ain't never been raped and pillaged. How Africa still being that. What are we doing, Uncle Reggie?
No,
see. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no. So you don't know enough about. So you really don't know. It seems that you don't really know about the Boxer Rebellion. You don't know about.
Let's stay on topic.
No, we are staying on topic.
You saying Africa could just close their borders? It's not that
Every
easy.
other country close their damn borders.
They would have to go to. We going to war with the French. Going to war with all these other countries.
That's what they're doing right now.
Close their borders.
But that's what they're doing. But you don't read the news. That's what they're doing now. They're kicking Europeans out of Africa.
Uncle Reggie, slowly but surely. Ain't no
No,
close
but
your
that's what they're
borders.
doing now. They're doing what
Uncle
I'm
Reggie,
telling you that.
slowly but surely, right? Slowly
No,
but
I'm
surely.
telling you what they are doing
Slowly
because
but
they're learning.
surely, right? Slowly but
Right?
surely,
No,
right?
I am. What the difference is, I am telling you what the Saharan groups are doing right now. They are kicking France out of their borders.
Slowly but surely, right?
No, but it started.
So
It
don't
started.
say close your borders like we can do that tomorrow.
Uh,
You
check
can't
this
close
out.
your damn borders that easy. They'll
Check.
be trying to go to war with us again.
Well, no, they are at war. They are trying to kill
Not the French.
President
The,
Traore daily.
I'm sorry.
In other presidents that don't go in line, but that's because they're learning more about themselves and more about their culture. Super Wavy, right?
Uncle
They're
Reggie.
freeing themselves of they're freeing themselves of the control of the global community. Slowly, surely, they're doing it for their best interest. They will trade with them, but on their terms. But
All right.
I'm saying that other countries are doing that. The Arabs did that.
Uncle Reggie,
Yeah.
Uncle Reggie, you're getting off point. Listen to me.
I'm not
These
off the point. Don't.
you getting off point. Bringing up other countries, like, come on, listen to me.
I'm giving you examples because I got scholarship.
Listen to me. You're getting off point. These conversations are
Okay,
healthy.
now you're interrupting me. Super
Uncle
Wavy,
Reggie,
I got plenty of things to do.
Shit. Slow down. These conversations are healthy. We're not arguing back and forth. You don't want it, Uncle Reggie. If I came on your panel and I'm agreeing with you every single thing you say, I'm not gonna expect you to respect me because I'm not gonna respect your ass if you agree with everything I'm saying. These dialogues are healthy. Well, if you want to run up, if you mad and you want to leave,
I'm not gonna run over. I just have other things to do. You got to respect that. Second of all, I have been on your show for more than half an hour.
Listen.
I gotta listen.
Listen. Just understand. We've been kidnapped, so we're not speaking our native tongue. We're not arguing. We going over the information. If it get passionate, so be it. But I'm not gonna call you out your name or talk about your mama. So don't take none of this shit as disrespect.
No,
if I call you a nigga, that's a term of endearment. I'm trying to tell your ass definition changes. We create definition as a people.
I responded to your link. I rushed home. I stopped what I was doing to be on your show. I was on your show for 45 minutes. I have more experience than anybody else in this so-called community with the elders. But I came on your show. And I have more connections, direct connections to some of the direct great scholars like Dr. Jeffries, Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, ASCAC, and I came on your show. Now, I can't, again, I know it's a long journey, and I don't expect you to understand everything that what I'm saying. But I am giving you a perspective that has been fought in Black academia. And that's all. So with that said, you still my brother. Invite me anytime. There's other people that want to talk. I just told you that people were African-centered, right? Doing the work against Euro-centric thoughts like Petrie for a very, very long time, way before Dr. Malefe Kitante.
Let me ask this last question.
Dr. Kite has done great work, but I'm not Afro-centric.
Let me ask this last question. If a group of people was watching this live stream and they hearing you say, I'm not Afro-centric, I'm African-centered. And if a group of people was watching this and hear those words coming out of your mouth, and they would and the consensus would be, he don't even know that's the same thing. He don't even know we talking about the same shit. How would you reply to that, Uncle Reggie?
I would simply say to them that you don't know the difference between African-centered and Afrocentricity and what the two different entities are. One is a social theory for change for African Americans, and the other one is an academic, truth-searching, research-based methodology that researchers use to understand uh, understand truth. I'll give you example. I'll give you example. Afrocentricity is not something that will fix what Dr. Hawa says, but African-centered scholars, right, who are African, who are Afro-American, who sometimes are white, right, who focus on the actual methodologies, they will correct Dr. Hawass. Afrocentrists, they will come to the rallies, like there will be a rally again at the Javits Center on July 19th when Hawass comes. But that's social movement. But
Let me ask you this.
intellectually,
Let me ask
but
you this.
but intellectually, I'm still talking. But
Uncle Reggie,
but
you gave me you on the example. Remember, so you going you filibustering. Let me ask you
I'm
this:
not so. Hey,
if
super
I'm
wavy.
if a 31-year-old man, I'm 31 years old, Uncle Reggie. If I come around and I say no, fuck that book. This the new definition of Afrocentric. You got a problem with that?
I say, explain yourself, sir.
All right. So
Anybody
when
can.
I
That's
say
the problem with.
Afrocentric,
That's the
looking at the
problem.
world.
I say, explain yourself. I mean, we got. How can I say? In gangs, they got different sects. In religions, they got different uh, different denominations, right? In all type of religions. I'll say. So I'll say, okay, you the prophet. You the prophet. I say, okay, super wavy. Let's walk in this room with the elders. You're a 31-year-old man. So yeah, you're a man. You done got push-ups hair on your chest, and you know what I'm saying, you done did some things. But I'm gonna walk you into a room of elders who have been doing this for 50, 60 years, who have seen change, who
And
have
if I
bled.
get my point across and prove to them that definitions could change over time, will you have a problem with that?
They will tell you like I tell you, because I'm 60
No, no,
years
no, no,
old.
no. If I get
I'm
my point across to
I'm
them,
damn
hold
near
up, no.
30
If I
years
get my
older
point
than you,
across to
sir.
them, if they
I'm damn
understand
near
where I'm
30
coming
years
from,
older than you,
if they
with way more
understand where I'm
experience.
coming from, will you
Sir,
have a problem with that?
sir.
If they understand where I'm coming from, will you have a problem with that?
Hey, sir. Uh, what I'm trying to tell you is
If
that,
they have a problem with if they understand where I'm coming
sir,
from,
you're
will
not gonna
you have
get
a
in there,
problem with that?
sir.
If
You're
you
really
bring me in the room with these old motherfuckers and
not
they
a old
understand where I'm
motherfucker.
coming from, will you have a problem with that?
Sir, you won't get in the room with that language.
All right, well that's cool. Don't
You
appeal
won't
to
ever
the
get in the
old
room.
ass
So
party.
that's why I'm
You
on
need
your
to appeal to
platform.
the YNs. You need to appeal to the young niggas, Uncle Reggie.
No, no, no,
Fuck
no, no,
them
no.
old ass niggas. They gonna die
I'm an
soon.
old ass
Old
nigga.
ass niggas gonna die soon.
I'm closer to them
This
than
is
I am
about
closer
us.
to
We
you.
running this shit. We
You ain't
coming up with
running
the
shit.
technology and
You ain't
lingo.
running shit. You ain't running shit. Your generation is one of the worst generations for our people. But you are our population. But as much technology that you have, as much money as you have, we did more with less than your generation who does shit with more. So your whole thing is the generation and my parents' generation, parents, they had to scrap coins and pennies just to buy goddamn clothes. They had to salt their food over goddamn months just to put something on a goddamn table. But yet they found a way to have moral and ethical societies in the South where if you were hungry, you could go to your next door neighbor. You can go walk down the street, right? And you'll be loved. Your generation, we can't walk down a block without thinking about we getting robbed because we not from here. What have you done with the greatness? You're the highest tech version of the African, but you've lost your goddamn morals and your goddamn mind. You ain't doing shit collectively. So what we try to do is try to bring you back into the fold and tell you about Booker T. Washington, right? Try to tell you about Garvey and Diop, right? And so you hear these names, but you don't even respect the fact that some of the people that you're talking to, like me, I worked on his book, Civilization of Barbarism, trying to bring it from French to England. You ain't got no goddamn respect for people like me. I'm an
All right,
old
check this
nigga.
out. Check this out. We is in survival mode in America. You talking about can't go down the street and get robbed? That's because we in survival mode. You motherfuckers ain't unified shit. Nation of Islam, Fruit of Islam. You niggas ain't you Black Panther Party. Nigga, y'all couldn't get on one accord. The Bloods and the Crips. That's your time, old school. What the fuck is you talking? Are you drunk? Don't come on my motherfucking panel talking about young niggas when you old motherfuckers ain't fight for no reparations.
No,
you old motherfuckers ain't get us shit.
We created reparations.
Hold up.
We had created the conversation reparations.
I let you talk.
No, but you lying.
I let you talk.
You goddamn lying.
Old motherfuckers ain't set up shit. You old motherfuckers ain't had no bank.
Yeah,
You
we
old
closed
motherfuckers
and
ain't had no
bathed you.
Walmart. You
Right,
old
we
motherfuckers
gave your
ain't
ass
created
milk.
son.
You ain't do
old
shit for the other generation.
Hold up. I let you talk. You old motherfuckers ain't give us generational wealth. You old motherfuckers was scared of the cracker. What the fuck is you talking about? You go today, nigga, we standing up, nigga, we marching, nigga. We vandalizing shit.
Now I gotta use the word ignorant.
You fucking right now, you fucking
using
with
that guns, you using that drugs against black folks. You know how many goddamn black folks is in jail over goddamn guns?
I didn't cut you off. Okay. A hit dog on holler.
Go.
It's hurting. It's stinging. I'm stinging your ass right now. I'm stinging your ass right now.
No, I told you I had to go.
Did Bloods and Crips start in 1994? No, goofy.
I'll come back later. Peace.
Bloods and Crips started, nigga, in your time. So if your old ass, run from that shit. Run from that shit. Bloods and Crips ain't started 30 years ago. That shit was going on in your time, nigga. Black P Stones, y'all had all that shit. I let you talk. I let you go on. Talking about sitting at the foothill. Fuck all of that. Fuck them books. Fuck reading a book. We in survival mode. You can't pay your rent. Why the fuck would you want to read a book? Fuck is you talking about? Bloods and Crips didn't come 30 years ago with my generation. Crack? Nigga, we wasn't on crack. We didn't start crack. That's your old ass generation. We over here trying to fight for reparations and got to deal with Donald Trump crazy ass because of you motherfuckers ain't lay no foot down. Y'all ain't give us no black president. Y'all ain't fight against J. Edgar Hoover. Uncle Reggie, wasn't you alive when J. Edgar Hoover was alive? What the fuck did you do to him? Let's keep this shit all the way 1,000. This why you let the elders talk. You let the elders, and me and Uncle Reggie ain't got no issue. Me and Uncle Reggie is good. Uncle Reggie could come on this panel tonight or tomorrow. Me and Uncle Reggie is good. But these conversations are healthy for our people. You need proper pushback with proper assertiveness. He told you, young niggas, you can't walk down the street without getting robbed. Why? Y'all didn't get us no generational wealth. Y'all didn't fight the cracker for shit. Click the link if you disagree. Click the motherfucking link if you disagree. I don't want to hear nothing. We wasn't on crack. Y'all was on crack. Y'all motherfuckers was on crack. We wasn't on no motherfucking crack. That's y'all motherfuckers that was on this wild ass drugs. So don't come on here with this old nigga shit. Don't come on here with this old nigga shit. Nah, nigga, it ain't about no young niggas. No, you motherfuckers are not good leaders. Who is your leader? Malachi Z. York, Farad Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad. Who the fuck is these people? These niggas ain't even fully black. Who the fuck is your leader? Farrakhan. You niggas was bowing down to Farrakhan. I ain't trying to hear none of that goofy ass shit. They say, damn, Wavy, you wildin'. No, I'm not wildin'. This called a conversation. We hollering because we been kidnapped. We using a damn white tongue trying to explain ourselves. I can't really say, nigga, you out of motherfucking line. Those words too white. Nigga, you gotta, what the fuck is you talking of? Nigga, that's how we express ourselves. Stop trying to express yourself like a white man. The fuck is going on here? I call you a nigga, you say you not a nigga. Nigga, you acting like the white man. If I call a white person a nigga, they gonna say, I'm not a nigger. I'm not a nigger. So come on, man. We gotta appreciate and accept this goddamn responsibility that your ass got for having black skin. If you don't want to accept the responsibility for having black skin, keep on acting white, goddamn me. Keep on acting like you goddamn European. We gonna keep it all the way real and have these uncomfortable conversations. Whether motherfuckers start hollering, hey brother, that's a part of the get. That's a part of the show. That's how we express ourselves. Fuck all that trying to be white shit. Now, like I was saying, you got a problem with the word Afro-centric, but you want to call yourself African-centered all day. Like I said, a group of people that's watching this, they hear somebody say, oh, I'm not an Afro-centric, but I am African-centered. They like, nigga, that's the same thing. What the fuck is going on right now? Nigga, you trying to play pseudo-linguistics? What's that word? Nigga, you doing semantics? Come on, man, we gotta be all the way 100. We gotta be all the way, if you can't be all the way 100, then I don't know what to tell you. But one thing for sure, definitions change over time. A whip back then is not the same whip that we call a whip right now. Right now, we hopping in our whip. Back then, your ass probably was running from the whip. Definitions change over time. So if I'm saying Afro-centric, oh, he's an Afro-centric, don't listen to him. No, we gotta change shit around. They made words up. Why we can't make words up? They made definitions. You would take your ass to the British encyclopedia, the British dictionary, because you know your ass, goddamn, you concede it to what the white man say. We got our own logic, we got our own thought, we got our own understanding. I'm not having no conversation with no motherfucker and they keep bringing me back to a motherfucking book. Fuck that book. Fuck that goddamn book. You wasted your money on it. I'm giving you a new definition. If you gonna keep going back to that book, fuck that book. You wasted your money on it. For the sake of the conversation, fuck that book. Don't run to no goddamn book when I'm talking to your ass. No, nigga, you right here. You can't pull out no goddamn source in the street. You can't go grab a goddamn source in the street. Get your ass jumped on trying to go grab a source in the street. Nigga, we in a blender, nigga. Stop grabbing that book, nigga. We in a blender. Protect your face. Cover your face up. Nah, man, I ain't run Uncle Reggie off. What happened was Uncle Reggie had something to do and I kept asking him questions. So I was prolonging the time. So Uncle Reggie came to the conclusion, man, I've been telling this nigga I gotta leave for 30 minutes. Either I'm gonna jump off this motherfucker and go handle my business on my day-to-day, or I'm gonna just keep going back and forth with Super Wavy. And he did the right thing, goddamn me. You know what I'm saying? You got shit to handle on the day-to-day. You'll go handle your shit. Goo, what's goody?
What's good?
Come on, man.
Man, that boy cracked me up when he said that generation, about our generation. That shit, I was laughing my ass off, but
Tell me what
but
I
you
lied
made a good
about.
point too. You made a good point too on that as far as the generational.
Tell me what I lied about or what I was wrong on, Goo.
I mean, you could say the whole definitions change, but they also remain the same too.
How they remain the same? Let's go back to the word whip.
A whip is still a whip. They use that every day. If you ride horses, cattle, bull, you know what I'm saying? They still use those terms right now.
So the black person.
Your mama might whip your ass with a goddamn piece of stick and call that motherfucker a whip.
Right. So when a black person come around and change the definition of whip to a car, is that an issue?
That's not an issue, no.
So that's why I asked Uncle Reggie, me being 31 years old, if I come to you and I say my definition of Afro-centric is somebody that look at the world through an African lenses, and it's everywhere. It's not just my definition. This shit is everywhere when you look up what an Afro-centric is. He keep going back to this goddamn book, and it's like a nigga could make up a word with it and put a meaning on it, but you not gonna tell me niggas can't come down the line, 1,000 years later, hundreds of years later, and change the definition, and that's a problem. That's white people shit. No, we made that word right. No, we made peanut butter.
Oh boy.
I think one of the
I mean,
biggest
when I hear African centered, it's similar to Afro-centric, but my viewpoint of Afro-centric is goddamn me. You know, you rocking the goddamn. You know, you wearing the colors, the greens, the reds, the yellows. You got the goddamn me shishiki on. Black power.
So
But
would you say
when I hear centered, it
now hold on,
means
let me I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna help you out. When you hear people say, I'm not Afrocentric, I'm African centered, is that like you trying to be in a party, but you ain't really in the party?
I mean, for me, not necessarily, but it means it kind of puts a context to something. Now, it's something that you got to figure out. Okay, if you're not Afrocentric, but you're saying you African centered, you gotta. What's the difference? You know, we gotta find the differentiate.
Right,
The
right.
differentiate.
All it goo, check me out. That's what I got to. That's why I asked him, but he didn't keep it real. I asked him, do you got a problem with that book and the definition in that book, or do you got a problem with the word? And he basically went sideways, but he obviously got a problem with both. When they say they African centered and not Afrocentric, they got a problem with their word Afrocentric. That's the issue.
And you know, when you've been locked up, so you've been around them motherfuckers who be like, the white man's the devil. What is that considered? African centered or Afrocentric?
Man, I'm gonna say that's a Muslim.
That's a Muslim talking point.
Yeah.
Okay. But then we gotta go to Malcolm X. You know, he was one of the major leaders of black Muslims in America. And he walked away from that, which was what's his name? The Elijah, who was on that type of time. And then you had what was the dude before Elijah, something X, who was supposed to be a reincarnation of Jesus or some shit.
Clarence 13X.
Clarence 13X. You know,
I
there's
don't look
different
at
levels to the shit,
yeah,
and
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
got.
I don't look at a lot of this shit. I don't look at the NOI as Afrocentric. They preaching if you got nappy hair, that's a problem. I don't they got look what they did to Malcolm X. I don't look at the NOI as Afrocentric or African centered. I look at that as a game.
Yeah, yeah.
A religious game.
Well, look, I'm about to step in this place right quick. I'm gonna stay on. If y'all on, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna mute y'all up though.
All right, big goop.
I gotta step in this office right quick.
All right,
But
big
I'm gonna
goop.
stay on if y'all still on.
Bet. Uncle Hercules, how we doing today?
Hey, what's up, man? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How
Hey,
was
so
how was your interview on Paradigm Shift yesterday?
it was cool, man. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. He had we didn't get to finish because he had to roll. So probably he said we're gonna do it again. But yeah, it went smooth. So what the
So what is your how you feel when you hear brothers that you know for a fact they Afrocentric? You know for a fact. And they saying, no, I'm not Afrocentric, I'm African centered. How that make you feel?
I don't know what's the difference.
It ain't a difference. It's a stigma on Afrocentric, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was understanding. I thought you were basically saying the same thing.
Right. So let me ask you this. Should we adopt if it is disrespectful, if the term Afrocentric is disrespectful, shouldn't we adopt that term as a term of endearment like we did, nigga, when all you gotta do is Google Afrocentrics or Afrocentrics and they showing all of our elders? Shouldn't we adopt that as a good thing?
But who's it disrespectful to?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, I don't know how you're being disrespectful by saying that. I don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? I think I caught the part when he was talking about but when Reggie was talking about using the term and mixing it with encompassing check into Geoff's work with the term. But I thought, but I don't know. For me, it just seems like it all would be just African-centered thoughts. You know what I'm saying? If I'm including check into Diop, John Henry Clark, Benjo Kana, it just seems like it's all encompassed in one. That's why I'm not getting.
Man, this conversation stemmed from 2 days ago. Really before that, when you listen to people, they'll be like, "Oh, he's an Afrocentric. You can't trust him. Oh, he's an Afrocentric." After hearing that so many times and realizing, what the fuck, they talking about our people.
Yeah.
They had the right methodology. They
Yeah.
wasn't taking no cracker word for granted.
Yeah, that's the funny because I hear that shit too. Like, oh, that Afro-centric. It's like, what am I supposed to be? What else I'm supposed to be?
You is African.
So yeah, some
ain't got no choice.
Yes, I heard that. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Some people throw it around, try to be as a derogatory, a negative, as though we shouldn't be. But what else you want to be?
Right, Eurocentric.
Yeah, like
this goes back to This goes back to your presentation with white science and black science. We not gonna sit up here and act like we don't got white history and black history. Look at this. Check this out. Let me share my screen. Sheikh Anta Diop advocated for a revision of African history by Africans themselves. This is a list of Afrocentric and African Egyptologists and scholars. So he advocated for a revision of African history by Africans themselves. A foundational figure in Afrocentric scholarship, his ideas sparked global debates in Egyptology. Global debates. Now look at Malefi Kereosante, advocated for interpreting African history from an African perspective. Is something wrong? Is that hard to understand?
Right.
Uncle Reggie was like, you need to write a paper. You need to write a dissertation. You need to go by this book definition. What? It's confusing, bro. It's confusing.
Yeah, I don't get it. It sounds like they Asante, kind of on the same. I don't know if it's because he's an American, a Black American, and he's coming up with this definition or something, but I don't get why it's not the same thing.
Uncle Reggie basically said Malefi Asante, he made 4 revisions to that book on Afrocentricity. And I asked him, did he make 4 revisions of that book to appeal to Eurocentrics, to the Europeans, or did he make 4 revisions of that book to get his people to understand it? and he basically said it was both. But we know why people make revisions, bro. What are we doing, bro? What the fuck is a peer review?
Yeah, I think I got that book, but I never read it, yo. Yeah, I do got that book. I've never read that joint.
A peer review is you getting your work critiqued by your peers. Now let me ask you this. We living in a motherfucking white country, goofy. So who your peers gonna be? We living in a white country. So who your peers gonna be? You know black people ain't going to school for anthropology. Nigga, we working at McDonald's and Walmart. We trying to survive. We can't think. That's why we need to get reparations. We can't think about next level educations and all of that shit. Nigga, we trying to survive today. We trying to pay rent today. What the fuck? What? After going to get a biology degree, brother, we trying to survive today. We got to be real with the current situation. So all the elders that did put their work in, they get our most respect. It's not, oh, they Afro-centric. Fuck no, they went and put their work in with the cracker. They went and stood on side the cracker.
Fighting.
Diop went to war with the cracker. Oh, my bad,
I wanted to know what because he said that that John Henry Clark was like he didn't consider himself to be like African centered or something like that.
Nah, he said they was African centered, they just wasn't Afro-centric. So I think Uncle Reggie pushback is just that word itself.
Yeah, because I don't understand the difference between it. What's different ideologies?
If my definition is what I'm saying, how can it be a difference if your definition is the same exact thing I'm saying? That means that definitions change over time, and you got to respect it or you don't. If you keep going back to a book for a definition when I'm telling you, nah, we hijacking this shit, you either going to respect the hijack, you either going to be black and proud, Afro-centric and proud, or you going to keep going back to some. That's like with the old dog that can't learn new tricks. Oh no, I want the Mustang. I need the Mustang. Niggas got Bentleys, Ferraris. Niggas got all type of shit now. Nigga, we can get our hands on a Maxima. You want a fucking Mustang?
Yeah, even because even now today, Asante, he's still like, you know, African centered, but yo, some of his views, you know what I'm saying, he's definitely changed a lot. Yeah, he's definitely changed over the years. So yeah, things change. People change as they get older.
Let me ask you this. If the name of my YouTube channel is Africa Online, would I be an Afro-centric?
It depends on what's on the channel, though.
Just going by the name. If you just had to judge by the name, Africa Online.
I wouldn't say like off right off top, nah, because it depends on what you got on the channel.
But let me say this: if your YouTube channel is called Africa Online, you gotta accept the fact you are Afro-centric.
Oh wait! You mean like with the same content that you got on right now, you just changed the name?
Say it again.
With the same content that you got on now, but you just changed the name. The same videos.
Oh no. I ain't even going by the videos. I'm just going by the name of the YouTube channel. You can name your YouTube channel Pig Feet. You can name your YouTube channel Backstreets. You can name your YouTube channel Bigfoot. You can name your YouTube channel Ski Mask Bob. You can name your YouTube channel Give Me a Lighter. If you name your YouTube channel Africa Online, you was an Afrocentrist.
Well, it depends, because it's like there are a couple of I would say there are a couple of channels, there are a couple of African channels that I follow, but they not, they not centered. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got that thought. You know what I'm saying? They not like, you wouldn't be able to have that deep conversation with them about Eurocentrism and white supremacy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying.
So it just depends on the content of the channel and shit as well.
We know what we already know what Uncle Reggie be Uncle Reggie be talking about Egypt, so we know how this go. Uncle Reggie, man, listen, Uncle Reggie, you gotta accept responsibility. I put you if you say you're not an Afrocentrist, I'm putting you in that position, Uncle Reggie. You are now an Afrocentrist starting today. You on our side. You just don't like you just think that's a derogatory term. Nah, you on our side. Just accept responsibility. All right, Uncle Hercules. So when we look at when you hear the word Afrocentric or Afrocentricity, what's the first thing that come to your head?
African centered thought. That African worldview. That African philosophy is at the center of your worldview. That black philosophy.
So if you got an African centered thought, would you be thinking like the white man?
Nah. You're gonna think you think like black people. Your foundation is centered from the African point of view of the world and the universe and all that stuff. So yeah, it's a different process of thinking. All
right, let me let me go my Chat GPT. Check this out. Would it be wise, Uncle Hercules? Let me ask you this question. Would it be wise to take Europeans' opinion at face value?
Of course not. Of course not. Nah. We've been doing that too long. Listening to taking their opinions, their thoughts at face value, without fact checking or anything like that. And that's the crazy part. It's time to stop doing that.
Come on, man. It says Eurocentrism doesn't always imply intentional racism or malice. It often reflects the dominant worldview of an era. Many of these figures laid the foundation for what? Modern disciplines, but their frameworks are now subject to deep critical reevaluation. Okay. It says Eurocentric scholars in Egyptology often shaped early narratives of ancient Egypt through a European lens, frequently minimizing Egypt's African roots, overstating Greek and Near Eastern influence, and portraying ancient Egyptians as white or non-black. This approach has been widely critiqued by Afrocentric, post-colonial, and African scholars. So, if it wasn't for Afrocentrics pushing back, till this day, the Egyptians probably would have still been. We probably would have had a modern consensus that the Egyptians was white, right, Uncle Hercules?
Yep.
Come on.
You know it.
All right. Champollion deciphered the Rosetta Stone. But check this out. He acknowledged links between Egypt and Africa. His framing still emphasized Egypt as a precursor to European civilization. So the nigga that deciphered the Rosetta Stone, Uncle Hercules, even he thought that Egypt was a precursor to European civilization.
Yep.
Flinders Petrie. Don't these niggas be bringing up Flinders Petrie, Uncle Hercules?
Who's that?
Flinders Petrie. You never heard that name before?
Nah.
That's a Egypt top. Check this out. Pioneer of archaeological methodology. Now check this out. He promoted eugenics and believed ancient Egyptian advancement came from an invading dynastic race of European origin. Explicitly rejected the idea that Egyptians were African in a black African sense. You hear it?
And that's what they do. They want to deny it.
Come on. Gaston Maspero sought to align Egypt with the Middle East or Mediterranean world rather than Africa. These all the niggas that Diop and Malefico Sante, these are niggas that they was fighting against.
Yep.
James Henry Breasted used phrases like the first truly European nation, despite Egypt's geographical and cultural roots in Africa. James Henry Breasted called Egypt the first European nation.
These motherfuckers. They hate the fact that that black people are smarter than them.
Right. Now, don't these niggas be talking about the Wallace Budge dictionary? E.A. Wallace Budge, a Brit.
Yeah.
Prolific. What prolific mean? Great. Prolific translator of an ancient Egyptian text. Though he contributed enormously to public Egyptology, he often romanticized Egypt in Orientalist and Christianized terms with a Euro-Christian bias. Look at this shit. That's the Wallace Budge dictionary. That's him. He tried to make Egypt Euro-Christian. George Wisner. Now we heard brought up Wisner and Breasted. Rejected the idea of advanced black African civilizations, viewing them as cultural borrowers from Egypt. George Wisner said, goddamn, the Nubians borrowed from the Egyptians. What the hell? See this shit?
Yeah. It's the thing. You got to be able to decipher through the racist shit.
Common euro-centric themes in early Egyptology. Whitewashing, suggesting ancient Egyptians were not black Africans. Dynastic race theory, claiming advanced culture came from outsiders, Asians or Europeans. Colonial framing, treating Egypt as a Western intellectual property and ignoring local voices and custodianship. Come on, man. Disconnecting Egypt from its African context and framing it as part of the Mediterranean or Near Eastern world. Now we got a whole bunch of niggas that say, "Oh nah, Egypt was Mediterranean." Egypt was Mediterranean. That's what the damn euro-centrics was doing.
It's dumb. And the funny thing is, what Diop say, if you want to understand, Kemet, you got to go back and look inner Africa, and you will see it. And then if you look outside Africa, you don't see none of the cultural similarities. That's the crazy thing. There's no cultural similarities outside of Africa.
Right.
Idiots, man.
You know what they like to do? You know what they like to do? They like to run the DNA. They like to run to some shit that we know these Arabs cherry picking and baby feeding us. These Arabs ain't showing us the real DNA. What the first 10 dynasties at? Show me the first 10 dynasties. These niggas showing us Greek invasion DNA. What the fuck?
Right. But I gotta go. Gotta run. Gotta pick up my son.
All right, please take it easy.
All right, I'm hollering at you.
Take it easy. These niggas getting DNA off the coast of Africa, claiming that that's the population. These niggas getting DNA off the coast of Africa, claiming that that's the goddamn population. I hear this shit. So look, in context, if you got a problem with the word Afro-Centric, you got to understand meanings change over time. Super wavy shunny It's an old meaning. Matter of fact, let's chat GPT the definition of Afrocentric. Let me ask chat GPT. Because they want to act like I gotta write a paper. Definition of Afrocentric. All right, let's share my screen. Got the chat GPT tonight. Let's share the screen. All right. Afrocentric refers to a worldview, perspective, or scholarly approach. So Afrocentric is not an ideology. It's a worldview, perspective, or scholarly approach that centers African people. Didn't you say you was African centered? Well, being an Afrocentric centers your ass. I just centered your ass. Unc, Reggie, y'all Africans, y'all Afrocentric now. Cultures, histories, and values as the starting point for analysis, understanding, and interpretation, particularly in contrast to Eurocentric narratives that have historically marginalized or distorted African contributions. Say that one more time. Particularly in contrast to Eurocentric narratives that have historically marginalized or distorted African contributions. Why is you niggas trying to work for the white man? Why is you niggas trying to work for the goddamn white man? Key elements of Afrocentric thought. African agency emphasizes the role of African people as active shapers of their own history and culture, not just passive receipts of external influence. Cultural centrality views African cultures and traditions as rich, valid, and worthy of study on their own terms, not just in comparison to European models. That's what we fight for. Key elements in Afrocentric thought. This how we rock it. I agree with all this shit. Historical connection, historical correction. Challenges Eurocentric distortions, omissions, or whitewashing in history. Here we go. Here we go. Decolonized perspective seeks to remove colonial bias from education, scholarship, and media by privileging African voices and frameworks. Pan-African solidarity connects African people on the continent and in the diaspora. Example usage. An Afrocentric curriculum would include African history before colonialism, highlight African philosophies, and present Egypt as part of African civilization. That's what we're striving for, right? That's what we're striving for, right? All right. The Afrocentric critique of a textbook might argue that it ignores or minimalizes Black historical contributions. An Afrocentric critique of a textbook might argue that it ignores or minimalizes Black historical contributions. That's a fact. Coined by Malefiel Sante defined Afrocentricity as a mode of thought and action in which the centrality of African interests, values, and perspectives predominate. All right. Here's a side-by-side comparison of Afrocentric and Eurocentric frameworks, especially as they apply to history, culture, and scholarship. Okay. Afrocentric versus Eurocentric worldviews. Worldview center. Afrocentric framework centers African as the origin and driver of historical developments. Eurocentric framework centers Europe as the primary force in shaping global history. Historical perspective reclaims African agency in shaping its own history and civilization. European framework often portrays Africa as passive, uncivilized, or relying on Europe. Don't we always hear, man, it's uncivilized, man. That land untapped. It's so much goddamn land, but who are you to say shit is uncivilized or not? Who is you? We doing our own thing, goddamn me. We eating off the trees, goddamn me. We swinging balls. You know what I'm saying? We Jackie Chan around this motherfucker. Ancient Egypt, Afro-Centric framework affirms Egypt as a Black African civilization. Euro-centric framework detaches Egypt from Africa, frames it as Mediterranean or Near Eastern. So the next time you hear somebody do this right here, detach Egypt from Africa, make it Mediterranean and shit, make them Arab, the ancient Egyptians, frames it as Mediterranean or Near Eastern. Civilizational origins highlight African civilizations like Nubia, Mali, Songhai, Axum. Eurocentric framework focuses on Greece, Rome, and European Middle Ages as founders. Cultural interpretation interprets African traditions, values, and languages on their own terms, measures African cultures against Western norms and ideas. Knowledge system values African epistemologies. The Eurocentric view privileges Western science, rationalism, and written records. All right, let's see. Key differences in approach. Afrocentricity recentering the African experience from the perspective of African people. Eurocentrism universalizing European norms as a standard for all cultures and histories. When you see motherfuckers be like, oh nah, man, it's peer reviewed. Oh nah, man, that's the modern consensus. No, nigga, you universalizing white people thinking processes. God damn it. Why this matters. Understanding the contrast between these perspectives helps explain how historical narratives are shaped by power and perspective, while certain cultures and contributions have been erased or downplayed. Now, this ain't me writing this shit. God damn. Chat GPT, man. Shout out to Uncle Chat GPT. They know what's going on. The importance of inclusive, decolonized education and scholarship. Man, look, hey, man, hey, that's enough. That's enough. What that boy say, it's not enough. Man, say, man, look, man. If you black, your ass better be a motherfucking Afrocentric. Centric, centrist, centricity. Your ass better be all of that shit. Because we know the power behind the will behind what we doing and all this work we put in is for our people. So don't act like it ain't. Don't try to be in a party and you just want to sit at the front door. Or you just want to sit by the front door. You got in the door. Bring your ass in. Come sit down and have a drink, nigga. Come sit down and have a drink with us. Damn, Afrocentric. Come sit down and have a drink, nigga. You know we understand, nigga. We get it, nigga. Act black. Your ass better start acting black. That's what we gonna start telling these niggas. Act black. Hell yeah, we goddamn Afrocentric. And it ain't nothing wrong with it. It ain't nothing wrong with it. Your ass it's two sides of the fence. It ain't no middle. The truth is in the middle. But we out here in the real world. We on a day-to-day, every day. So your ass gonna be an Afrocentrist or a Eurocentrist with your thought process. The truth is not your thought process. The truth is not your point of view. We seek the truth. But your ass still gotta phase one. Your phase one better be African in the motherfucker. I'm gonna start looking in you niggas' brains. I'm gonna start doing checks on you niggas. Start drilling up in you niggas' heads, making sure you niggas black in the inside. You niggas better have black in your goddamn head. I'm gonna start doing like the ancient Egyptians and drilling in you niggas' heads. And they got some black in there. And they got some Afrocentricity in there. Trying to cover that shit up, nigga. Send that nigga back, nigga. You gotta go. You coming back as a goddamn roach. Coming back to this world as a roach. Hell wrong with these goddamn niggas. These niggas together. Hell wrong with this shit. But nah, man, definitions change over time. We definitely promote Afrocentricity and all that. Don't call me something 100 times. Nigga, I'll make that shit lit. All right. All right. Damn, I got what else I'm supposed to be? Oh yeah, it's only 2:00. So yeah, we about to get up out of here. We making it real clear. You hear a nigga say Afro-centric or calling somebody an Afro-centric and he black, and tell a nigga, hey, nah, gang, we ain't riding like that, gang. We all Afro-centric. So you got a problem with that, and get your ass out this car. That's how we doing. Peace out, Black African.